Hey everyone, welcome to the Wilson Homestead. So I'm going to be starting some veggie seeds today. I'm so excited about this. I'm not going to be starting a whole lot because it is still February, but I am going to start some onions and some brassicas. And also I have a little bit more winter sowing that I want to share with you, so let's get to it. I'm in my grow room right now and things are quite a mess. I didn't clean this place back up in the spring whenever I was done using it, so all my shelves are still dirty and I need to get that cleaned up. But these onion seeds and brassica seeds need started now, so I'm going to get these started and then I will get this room cleaned up. But I did want to share a couple things with you. I got some new trays. Now these trays, they are pretty heavy duty and they are from Lowe's, and I wish I could tell you how much they were per tray. My husband picked them up, but they seem like they're pretty sturdy. I want to get more of these heavy duty trays so that way I can use them year after year after year instead of getting the cheap ones that bust and get holes in them after like one season of use. And so I got, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, I got 5 of these, and then I got 10 of the heavy duty trays from Bootstrap Farmer. Now these are really heavy. They're really high quality. These should last so long before they have to be replaced. So I'm excited to try out these new trays. I also got some of these little pots from Amazon to start stuff in. These will be good for tomatoes, peppers, most anything that I start, and hopefully nothing will have to be up potted out of this size. I think this is 3-inch pots, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look and see if it says on the bottom. These don't seem real heavy, but they are heavier than the really cheap ones. So these should hold up for a while too and be easy to wash and reuse in the future. Like I said, I got 2 boxes of these. I cannot remember how many of these are in each box. Let me check here. There's 60 in each box. So I have 120 of those to use, and I think I am going to use these to start my onion seeds in. I will just sow probably 12 or so onion seeds in each pot, and then in the springtime, whenever it is time to transplant those out, you can easily tease the roots apart and transplant each individual onion. That is the way that I tried to do it last year, and it worked out really well, and it was a lot easier than putting one onion seed in each individual cell and then transplanting them out that way. It's easier just to kind of bulk sow them in one container and then separate them out, because onions are pretty tough, so it's not going to hurt them to manipulate the root system a little bit whenever you're transplanting them out into the garden. I have 3 different types of onion seeds that I'm going to be starting today. I have my favorite storing onion, Patterson Hybrid. I have a sweet onion, Candy Hybrid Onion. And this is new to me. These are Hishiko bunching onions. I've never grown bunching onions before, but I am assuming that I sow them the same way as I do these other ones. That's what I'm going to go with. Now, when I get onion seeds, I normally buy onion seeds every single year because they're just one of those seeds that the germination rate falls pretty quickly after it, like if you keep them for over a year. Kind of like lettuce does that too. It, like, the germination rate drops off pretty quickly. So I'm going to sow all of these seeds. Now with the bunching onions, I might like do half of them now and then wait about a month and do another half. That way I have a succession planting of these. But these other 2 varieties, I'm just going to do all of them. I have some pre-moistened potting mix right here. This is Pro Mix, and it is the premium vegetable and herb organic potting mix. I'm going to start filling up some of these containers. And I'm not going to fill them all the way up. Onion seeds need to be buried about 1/4 of an inch deep. So I'm going to fill these up to a point where I can put the seeds in and then cover it with a little bit of this potting mix and still have room to be able to water stuff in without water spilling over the sides. And I'm just packing this in a tiny bit. You don't want it to be really compacted in these containers, just lightly, just so you don't have any air pockets in there. I'm just going to do one pot of these onions just to show you how I do it. It's pretty simple, and the rest of them are going to be exactly the same. So I'm going to say a pot this size, I could probably put about 15 or so seeds in there. I'm not going to count them out. I'm just going to get a little handful of them and then try to sprinkle them equally throughout this pot. And if you hear a lot of noise upstairs, it is my husband and my daughter and our dogs. They seem to be very hyper tonight and very noisy. So now I'm just going to sprinkle about 1/4 of an inch of soil on top of these seeds, and then pack it down. Eva's getting in trouble. And then I'm just gonna spray these down a little bit. I've got one of these little fancy pump sprayers. And since this potting mix is already pre-moistened, I don't have to water these in just a whole lot. Now I'm going to finish sowing the rest of these, and then I will show you where I'm at. Oh, and don't forget your label so you know what they are. I ended up with 22 pots of onions here, and I'm going to try to put a humidity dome over top of these. I might have to stick these tags down in a little bit farther. I don't know if this will work since the pots are pretty tall, but we're going to try it out. So that way I don't have to water all the time. Okie dokie. Now these are going to go under the lights, and we're just going to wait and see what happens. Now for the brassicas, I have 3 different things here. I have Brunswick cabbage, and this was a free seed that I got last year from Baker Creek. And I have Waltham broccoli and graffiti cauliflower, which is a purple cauliflower, and I'm really excited about it. I've never been able to grow cauliflower successful yet, but this year I'm gonna try it again. I'm not giving up. So these seeds are going to be sown just about the same way. I did get a different cell pack here to start some of these in, and then I'll probably do 2 plants a piece in these big ones. So I'm going to start out with the cauliflower, and I'm only going to try to do 4 of these because, like I said, I'm not great at growing this plant, so I don't want to waste a whole lot of space for it. And I think that since there's so few seeds in here, let's see here, there's 9 seeds in this package. So I'm just going to do 1 seed per cell. Right in the middle. And then I'm just going to push it down about 1/4 of an inch and then cover it up. And I'm going to go ahead and put my labels in so I don't forget what is where. Now I'm going to do 5 cells of the cabbage because I know I can grow cabbage. And since I have more of these seeds, I might do 2 seeds per cell just to be sure that we get good germination. And then I'll just thin these out that I put more than 1 seed in. I will let them grow up a little bit, pick the strongest plant, and keep that one. Alright, now these 2 I am going to do the broccoli in, and I'm just going to do like 1 on each side, and hopefully we'll get 4 pretty good plants out of this. These seeds are kind of getting old, so I'm going to put a couple seeds in each spot where I want a seedling to come up. Okay. Alright, and that does it for the brassicas. I'm just going to water them in a little bit too. Okay, these are ready to go under the lights. I am actually not going to turn the lights on for a couple days. All of these seeds are going to take a little while to germinate, and there's no point in running these lights and using the electricity if nothing is up yet. So, and none of these need light to germinate. Like, there are some seeds that you surface sow and they have to have light to germinate. In that case, you would want the lights on them constantly. But in this case, they don't need light to germinate, so I'm just going to wait until I see some action, and then I will turn the lights on for probably, I'm going to say like 12 to 16 hours a day. I haven't decided yet, but it'll probably be somewhere in that range. We're here at the kitchen table and I'm going to winter sow a couple varieties of flowers. First, I have Shirley Double Mix Colors poppies, and I also have Delphinium Magic Fountain. We're going to start off by getting these milk jugs ready, and so I just want to put some drainage holes in the bottom. Okay, and now we're going to start on this side of the handle. And cut all the way around to this side, but we're going to leave this part intact so that way we have a hinge. Just like that. See? Let's do this other one real quick. Okay. And we're going to take these lids off. We don't need the lids because we want rain or snow or whatever to get down in here to keep the seeds moist. We're going to start off by filling these containers. I just have a regular old Miracle-Gro potting mix that I'm putting in here. Now I will tell you, for like my tomato seed starts and pepper seed starts and stuff like that, I do go for the more expensive potting mix because I have had pretty bad luck with just using straight up Miracle-Gro potting mix for those things. But for this, I think the Miracle-Gro potting mix will work just fine. And it's cheap, so that's what we're gonna do. Now these delphinium seeds, these are so old. I don't even remember when I bought them. But we'll see if they germinate or not. If they don't, oh well. This potting mix is also pre-moistened, so that way I don't have to water this stuff in after I plant it. Alright, that looks pretty good. I'm going to start with the delphiniums. I don't have a whole lot of hope for these seeds just because they're so old, but we're going to try it and see if we get anything. The seeds are pretty small. I probably have 15 or 20 seeds there, and I'm just going to put them all in here because I am sure that the germination rate is not very good with these seeds since I've had them forever. I'm just going to try to sprinkle them evenly throughout this container. And then I'm just going to top it with just a tiny bit of potting mix. It says to cover these seeds to about the depth of the seed. And those seeds are pretty small, so we don't want to just put a whole lot of extra dirt in here. And then I'm just going to press down so that way they have good contact with the soil. Okay, now for the poppies. These are supposed to have light to germinate, so I'm just going to sprinkle them on top of the soil and then lightly push down on them. Now the thing about poppies is they do not like to have their root systems disturbed, so this could be a bad idea. I am going to save part of these seeds to just direct sow out in the garden in spring, and we'll see which ones do better. I might actually start a few in the grow room too, just for an experiment, just to see. I'll grow them 3 ways and then we'll see which ones do best. Man, these seeds are very small. You can hardly see them. That there is probably way more seeds than I should be putting in here, but I'm just like, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. What's the worst thing that could happen, right? Okay, now I'm just gonna push down. Hopefully I don't lift too many of these seeds up on my hands, but just so it has good contact with the soil. And actually, I think I'm gonna go get a spray bottle with water in it and spray these down. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and give these delphiniums a little bit of a spray down too. And now I'm just going to get some tape and put around these and label them, and then we will go put them outside. I got them taped back together, and I'm just going to set them here on the uncovered part of the porch along with the lupins. And hopefully we will have a bunch of nice flowers popping up here in the spring. These will just sit basically dormant until the weather gets warm enough and the soil inside of these get warm enough to where they'll start coming up and germinating. So we will just be patient and wait for these little babies. Alright guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you next time here on the Wilson Homestead. Bye guys.